Hello, I'm Jonathan Ross from Ross Search Consulting, and I'm joined today by Julie Marsden, an HR consultant who consults on a range of HR issues, including recruitment and selection. And Julie and I work together on a number of HR recruitment and selection activities. So delighted to have Julie with me here today. Julie, another question that often comes up in the recruitment process is, should companies use psychometric testing? Mm-hmm. There seems to be a very diverse range of opinions about whether psychometric testing is useful. Actually, I said psychometric testing, but it's not, is it? It's actually psychometric profiling. Again, it's a common mistake that people use, thinking that psychometric testing is all about a right or wrong answer, but it's not. It's about pulling together a profile.
Yes.
But so what's your opinion of the place of psychometric testing in the recruitment process?
Okay, I think it is an integral part. There is a cost to it, so ultimately, whilst I would advocate that it has its use, and it is a very powerful tool, it's one tool. So, as with the interviewing processes we've talked about previously, you will bring into play a number of different tools, of which psychometrics are one. They are one tool. So, if we split profiling and testing, I think it is a misconception, as you've brought out, that profiling or psychometric testing is one thing. When you're doing a profile on somebody, or you're obtaining their profile, they essentially are answering questions about themselves. So there's no right and wrong answers.
Yes.
So in terms of a profile, you're looking at the traits of the person. You're looking at almost their makeup, their type of person. And you could be comparing that against what you're looking for in the role, or the culture fit of the organisation, or the type of team that they're going to be working in, or their leadership style. So for example, what a profile might bring out for you, if you're looking for somebody who is very tenacious, who's very determined, who's a go-getter, who's somebody who can work in a high-pressured environment, say a salesperson again.
Yes.
If somebody is low on the scale of, say, resilience, or reaction to pressure, or reaction to responses to criticism, or somebody who is quite low on tenaciousness, then you would question, is this person going to be able to close a sale? Are they going to be able to drive forward a particular deal or whatever? So it gives you a picture, it gives you an indication of the type of person through profiling. Whereas if you wanted to test somebody against a set of right and wrong answers, so for example, in a finance situation where you would expect somebody to be good with figures in a finance situation, then you may well present a numerical test around, well, this is a right and a wrong answer. So it's about distinguishing, what are you looking for, what is the best tool for you, because the whole field of psychometrics, we could wax lyrical all day about the number of different profiling tools, tests that are out there. It's about putting it into context of what are you looking for in the business. So for example, in a senior recruitment, in a senior selection situation, if you're bringing somebody into a senior team, if you're bringing somebody to a board level position, it's critical.
Yes.
And if you've got a board who is a mix of people who are ideas people, who are team players, who are facilitators, whatever their type of style is, you've got to bring somebody in who complements that. So if you've got a whole load of ideas people, you probably don't want another ideas person, otherwise when are you actually going to implement those ideas and get things done? So it's about identifying what is the team style now, what is the team type, and bringing somebody in that's appropriate. And a profile will help you decide on that, not on its own as a part of the interview and any presentations that the person have done. It's a part of the suite of tools, not just in isolation. And again, it shows the candidate that the company is investing in the selection process, and that they're going through different stages. But the testing is very black and white: numerical testing, analytical testing, problem-solving testing.
That's pass or fail.
It's a pass or fail, and it's a pass or fail, but it's in context, because what it will give you is you'll get some background information in terms of 70% of the candidates, 70% of the participants in this test completed it in so many minutes and scored this. So you've got some benchmarking that you can look at in terms of, well, they got 5 out of 10. Actually, 5 out of 10 might be a really good mark in the time scale compared to other comparators within that testing.
Yeah. Okay. Getting back to psychometric profiling.
Yes.
I think it's a good idea to talk about the fact that it's very important to use the right psychometric tools, because there's so many in the market, and I have seen many organisations go for the cheapest option, which usually gives not such a great result. They may have their merits, but they certainly have their limitations. So I think it's very important to actually choose the right psychometric tool for the type of skills you're looking for. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely, and you're absolutely right. It's like with any product, it sits within a whole suite of different products in its competitive marketplace. So if you're a business and you think, yeah, I'd like to engage in some form of profiling just to see a little bit more in detail what this person is and what they can do, and what their personality is, and how they may well be a fit for the organisation, then there's a lot of different places that you can go for. The web is great, so you can look at the different assessment tools online, and there's a lot of feedback available, good and not so good in terms of what's being used. Or you can go to organisations such as the British Psychological Society, because a lot of the profiling tools that are used today are accredited or not by the BPS. So that's another a good form of information. Places like the CIPD, my professional institute, will be able to advise in terms of and provide information around profiling and testing and what it can do, and what sort of tools you could go for, as well as going to companies who actually do the profiling and testing, and just getting information from them and saying, okay, again, everything has a cost, and looking at what is the most appropriate tool.
Of course, go to an HR consulting firm like yourself.
Yes, go to the people who use them on a regular basis, and we do use them a lot in recruitment and selection is the context that we're talking about. But just to give people a flavour of what we also use them for, is we use them across things like performance management and putting together teams and outplacement and career counselling. So there's a number of different ways in which we can build psychometrics into the employee life cycle of a person within a business. It's not just purely for recruitment and selection or attraction and acquisition. It's any number of different ways that you can apply it in a business.
So the takeaway is psychometric profiling and testing, very important tools if used in the right context and the right tools are used.
And not in isolation. Yes, because it's part of that overall selection process involving perhaps a number of other tools, interviews, presentations, some form of testing, some form of scenarios, wherever's appropriate, but it's a part of that.
Splendid.